What if the woman you trust the most isn't who she really is? What if her loyalty, her sweetness, even her affection, all of it, was nothing more than a costume she puts on when you're in the room? See, too many men get fooled by polished words, soft touches, and curated smiles. They confuse attention for love and chemistry for character. And the cost of that mistake? Years wasted on someone who only played the role until it no longer suited her. Here's the truth nobody tells you. A woman's real character doesn't show up in the candlelight dinners or the Instagram captions. It doesn't even show up when she's holding your hand in public. Her real self leaks out in the silences. When there's nothing to gain, when no one's clapping, when she doesn't actually need you anymore. That's when the mask slips. That's when you find out if her loyalty is stitched into her values or just stapled onto her image. And once you understand these silent tests, you'll stop chasing words and start noticing patterns. You'll see clearly whether you're loved or just being used. So pay close attention, because in this video, I'm going to give you 7 silent tests that reveal a woman's true character. No drama, no traps, just quiet truth that will either confirm you're safe or warn you before it's too late. 1. The freedom test. Who is she when nobody's looking? Freedom is the stage where masks fall. Anyone can look loyal when the lights are on, but real character shows when the curtain drops. A woman's true self comes out when she thinks there are no eyes on her, no reward to chase, and no penalty if she slips. That's why the freedom test is the first silent filter. Let me paint it with a story. Raj, 34, dated a woman who seemed flawless. Around him, she was affectionate, always texting back fast, posting pictures of them together. On the surface, she looked loyal. But Raj noticed something strange. Whenever she traveled with friends, her tone changed. Messages got shorter, slower, sometimes ignored. On nights out, her phone lived face down. Nothing clear, no smoking gun. But the vibe was different. When Raj asked about her trip, she gave polished answers that felt rehearsed, like a politician giving a speech. That's the problem. Public loyalty is easy. Smiling in photos, tagging you online, showing affection when you're near, anyone can do that. But private loyalty is where the truth hides. Does she close little doors when you're not around, or keep them cracked open for attention? Does she protect the bond, even when you'll never know? The freedom test isn't about spying. It's about quiet observation. Watch for consistency. If her boundaries shift depending on who's around, that's a costume. If they stay the same in private, that's a code. The key question is simple. Is loyalty her outfit, or is it her principle? Freedom doesn't create betrayal. It only exposes it. If integrity is in her, distance won't change it. If betrayal is in her, space will invite it out. That's the first silent test, how she handles freedom when the door clicks shut. 2. The sufficiency test. When she no longer needs you, need can fake love. When she relies on you, emotionally, financially, socially, kindness comes easy. Gratitude flows because you're filling a gap. But when that gap closes, when she finds her balance again, how does she treat you? That's the sufficiency test. Here's an example. Vivek, 42, dated a woman who leaned on him during tough times. He was her rock, covering dinners, offering advice, listening to her late-night worries. She seemed deeply appreciative. But months later, she got promoted, rebuilt her social circle, and found stability. Instead of more love, Vivek got less. Calls felt rushed, plans got canceled. His needs were met with sighs instead of support. What changed? Not him, her circumstances. When she needed him, she was warm. When she didn't, she grew cold. That revealed the truth. Her affection was tied to utility, not character. The sufficiency test cuts straight through illusions. A woman who still respects you when she doesn't need you, that's real character. A woman who drops warmth once her needs are met, that was convenience. Love doesn't fade when the perks fade, only transactions do. 3. Words versus patterns. The hidden scoreboard. Many men get caught in this trap. They listen to her words more than they watch her patterns. Words are forecasts. Patterns are the weather record. If her words predict sunshine but the record shows storms, believe the record. Take Samir, for example. His girlfriend often said, "You're my forever." Sweet, right? But when you looked at her patterns, she didn't back it up. She made promises she never kept. She'd say she valued honesty, but hid things when it suited her. She'd say she wanted partnership, but only showed up when she benefited. Patterns are harder to fake than words. That's why this silent test matters. Don't argue with speeches. Audit her patterns over time. Does she live the values she talks about, even when it costs her? Or does she shift when conditions change? Character isn't a speech. It's repetition. It's what she does without thinking. If you catch yourself constantly reconciling her words with her behavior, that's your answer. Her real language is her pattern. 4. Public image versus private integrity. There's a difference between how she acts in front of an audience and how she acts when it's just you. This test reveals whether her loyalty is branding or a lived code. In public, some women go above and beyond, holding hands, praising you, telling others how wonderful you are. That looks great, but it doesn't mean much if it vanishes behind closed doors. Private integrity is the key. Does she still treat you with kindness when no one's around? Does she show respect when there's no audience to clap? Think of it like this. An outfit can be worn for a crowd, but a code is something you carry alone. If her loyalty disappears once the room empties, it wasn't loyalty, it was performance. Psychology calls this impression management, the tendency to polish behavior when observed. That's human. But if she's one person in public and another in private, you've spotted branding, not character. 5. Respect during conflict. It's easy to be loving when things are smooth. The real test comes when conflict hits. Does she fight dirty, throw insults, drag your wounds into arguments? Or does she stay respectful even in anger? Rohan learned this the hard way. Every disagreement with his partner turned into a character assassination. She'd remind him of past mistakes, call him names, slam doors. The issue itself got lost because the respect died. Conflict didn't reveal her stress, it revealed her baseline. A woman with character doesn't avoid conflict. She handles it without demeaning you. She can disagree without destroying. She can be upset and still hold respect. That's the silent test inside the storm. Because love isn't measured by romance on good days. It's measured by respect on hard days. 6. Gratitude versus entitlement. Watch how she treats small gestures. Does she say thank you for the little things, or does she act like they're owed? Gratitude signals humility. Entitlement signals self-centeredness. Take Aaron, who dated a woman that expected everything but appreciated nothing. If he planned a date, she'd nitpick. If he gave her a gift, she'd compare it to others. Gratitude wasn't in her vocabulary because she saw kindness as her right. A woman with character doesn't just notice grand gestures, she appreciates daily ones. She thanks you for showing up, for being steady, for trying. That's humility. That's someone who values, not just consumes. Gratitude builds bonds. Entitlement erodes them. 7. Consistency over time. The final test is the simplest, yet the hardest: time. Anyone can fake character for weeks, even months. But time exposes all costumes. Real values repeat. Performances expire. Look at patterns across seasons. Does she still act the same 6 months in when the novelty is gone? Does she maintain respect when stress rises? Does her baseline match her beginning? Consistency over time is the ultimate filter. Love at first sight is chemistry. Love after years of storms, that's character. If her behavior stays aligned across different seasons, you found someone rare. If it keeps shifting with circumstances, you found a performance. So let's bring it all together. 7 silent tests, each one stripping away the act and showing you what's underneath. Freedom, sufficiency, patterns, public versus private, conflict, gratitude, and consistency over time. These aren't little tricks to catch her slipping. These are windows into her baseline, the parts she can't fake forever. Because here's the truth. Love isn't proven by words, selfies, or weekend highs. It's proven in the quiet spaces, when no one's watching, when she doesn't need you, when the mask has no reason to stay on. That's where her true character lives. And this is where most men fall apart. They measure love by chemistry instead of consistency, by romance instead of respect, by temporary warmth instead of permanent values. But chemistry fades, romance shifts, warmth cools. Values, they hold. That's what lasts. If she passes these tests, you've found something rare. A woman whose loyalty isn't performance but principle. Someone who honors you, not because she needs you, but because she values you. That's gold. That's peace. And that's worth protecting with everything you've got. But if she fails, don't beg, don't bargain, don't waste years negotiating with red flags. Failure in these tests doesn't make her evil. It just means her baseline doesn't match your standard. Accept that. Let clarity save you from confusion. Walk away with peace instead of regret, because men don't lose the most time from betrayal. They lose it from ignoring patterns. Stop ignoring. Start observing. And once you see the truth, trust it. Here's the one line I want you to carry from this video. Character is what she does when there's nothing to gain and no one to impress. Watch that, and you'll never mistake convenience for love again. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen someone's true character only after the spotlight was gone? Drop your story in the comments. If this video gave you clarity, hit subscribe, give it a like, and share it with a brother who needs this. Remember, awareness is your shield, wisdom is your weapon. Use both, and you'll never settle for performances again.